Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Tabletalk. We're talking about WINGSPAN Asia, reviewing it.
So, WINGSPAN Asia is a standalone game for 1 to 2 players. It's also an expansion for the base game that is 2 to 5 players. And it also adds a 6th and 7th player.
Yes, so let's start with the duet mode. So the way duet mode is that it is a standalone game. So you can totally buy this copy of WINGSPAN and essentially be fine if you don't plan on playing with more than 2 players.
It gives you the boards here. So it gives you 2 boards for the 2 player. Front and back if you want to play, with or without Nectar.
So, yep.
So, if you wanted to play with Nectar, that means you have to have the expansion.
Oceanic expansion, yes.
So, that was one thing. But, it also gives you new and round goals in this board. And tokens to place on the board. The yin and yang tokens.
Yep, yin and yang. So, as these little...
So, whenever you place the yin and yang tokens down, it's kind of like an area control. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty fun. It gives you new end round bonus, which associates with the board.
Yes, the end round bonuses only apply to the duet mode that is added. So, yes, and add those particular things is usually implies interaction with these. So, you play a bird, you get to add one of these to the board based on habitat and something else. And it's going to be like around the edges, or like these tokens around the edges, or the most that on the board, or per row, or something like that.
It also gives you another way to reset the bird feeder and reset the bird cards if you wanted to do it, which I think strategy wise it would be a waste. I would just play it here for that area control, in my opinion.
No, I agree, but if I play a 7-point card that just doesn't correlate to something on that board, or what it can correlate to has already been taken, it's a good alternative.
Okay, we haven't used it the time we played it. Anything else you want to add about the duet?
Let's see, what else? It does add this little player aid, and it has these player aids as well that kind of walk you through the first 4-5 turns if you're learning how to play. And it is adherence to the duet mode. That's it.
Okay. Well, the next thing is bird cards and bonus cards. It does add a few more bonus cards, and it does duplicate 2 bonus cards.
Oh, so this is for the 3 to 5 player, adding to base game. Mm-hmm. All it has is several birds and a couple of game end bonus cards.
So if you just had the base game and you bought this to add cards, it would add new bonus what's it called? Powers. New powers for the birds.
Yes.
If you had the other expansions, then you'd be familiar with it. It has game end and round end bonus.
So yeah, just to reference other ones, the European expansion, the first expansion for WINGSPAN, added the round ends. Yes, added the round end. They're a teal color at the bottom. And the Oceania expansion, the second one, added the end game bonuses, which are a yellow at the bottom for the bird actions. This one adds a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm. I do find that these birds are also a little bit more powerful than the base game birds, like the extra action. An example would be if you were to tuck a card in the base game, that's it. You tuck the card, you get 1 point. But nowadays, these newer birds, if you were to tuck a card, sometimes you might get an extra thing like, cache of food, and that's 2 points.
Tuck a bird if you do cache of food.
Yes, or there's other things, but that's just the most easy example I could think of that these birds are a little bit better.
Just a little bit. I didn't actually notice what the point value on those are, if they're just slightly lower point value.
I don't know, but I like, the point value on the bird matters, but if it gives you more points with the action, the activate action, then that's worth it. Like,
right. So, like I said, that's pretty much all it adds to a base game for a standard 3 to 5 player game. Moving on, they have flock mode, which is a 6 or 7 player variant of the game, which it adds these two boards, a second bird feeder essentially, and this cardboard to put birds on.
because in the flock mode, we will split the table into 2 groups. If you play with 6 players, it's going to be a group of 3, and then you would each have your bird and your food that you would go for.
Right. Each group
yeah.
has their own set of things or resources to pull from. Mm-hmm. Because...
And a group of 7 would be a 3 and a 4, obviously.
Correct. Because it splits the table up and 2 players are playing at the same time. Which, in a 6 or 7 player, you have this little wheel here. And it comes with these little dials that you would put in a 6-player game. You'd have this, and then have this, and then as people's turn go, you would rotate it to indicate what colors are going. So as a helpful tip, sit in this orientation for the color, or this orientation for 7 players. They have their own little dial for 7. So, yes, when you're playing simultaneously, all players do interact with the all players gain things or what have you.
I thought it was cool. We move a lot faster with the simultaneous play. It does get a little confusing when you're getting like, all players lay an egg, or in between turns, players, gain an egg. That gets a little confusing to try to remember, hey, did you get an egg yet or not? I don't know. But it's doable.
Yes, I didn't find it too complicated, but I didn't really run to that issue too much, especially when the 2 simultaneous players, both of them have a in between turns when someone else does a thing, and then they both end up doing that thing. Mm-hmm. That can definitely get a little too much, but otherwise it's pretty good.
So we play with 6 players. We did not play with 7 players, but in my opinion, I don't think I ever want to play with 7 players because it gets a little complicated. And
with a group of 4, because at some points during the game, the first and 4th player in that group will be going at the same time. In which case, certain people have priority depending on what round it is.
Well, and basically, with a 6 player, 1 person from each side is playing. But with the 7 player, there is one point where 2 people on the same side plays, and I feel like I don't like that. Yeah, even though I haven't tried it.
Yes. I mean, that is, like I said, as well as the color order, player seating order, you have to decide where those groups of 3 kind of start and end.
Okay. Was that everything that we wanted to mention that we like and it was new?
I think so.
Okay.
And then if you've played the base game and you have the round end goals, I know it has a double-sided where it has kind of a very friendly blue side or the very competitive green side where there's a first, second, and 4th place, first, second, third, 4th. Flock mode. Only the green side applies to this board. So there's that. Just wanting to establish.
So not everybody's getting points, but it is friendly ties.
It is friendly ties.
Okay. So things we did not like about the game is the score pad does not have a section for nectar. And if you're playing with nectar, you just have to find a little spot to write it in.
Yep, maybe split a box in 2 or something like that.
That was the only thing I really didn't like about the game.
Yeah, it's a little odd that they didn't add it as a little additional thing, just another line.
Because they have a board that has nectar.
It just says, if you own nectar.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or something, I don't know.
So, that was the only thing I didn't like about this game. So, yeah. So, overall rating, I'm going to rate it a 5 out of 5 because I thought this expansion added a lot to the base game, and I like that it's a standalone. So I think it's worth the buy.
I'm going to agree with you. Not really much to add that I haven't explained already in this video. So yeah, that's about it.
So that's our review on Wingspan Asia.
Please like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below.
Okay. Well, bye-bye for now.
See you in the next one.